Dear all, welcome to the nature-based solutions for urban wastewater treatment. As you have already heard, Wastewater Management Decision Support Tool, or WEMDST for Drin River Basin, is addressing agglomerations above 2000 PE. The concept behind is the bigger the city, the bigger the discharge and its negative impact on the environment. However, that doesn't mean that the impact of small agglomerations with less than 2000 PE is negligible. In this lecture, I will present the most commonly used nature-based solutions for urban wastewater treatment in areas with a prevalence of the dispersed settlement. Any human intervention in nature changes the natural balance and characteristic of certain ecosystems. On the one hand, we have man and his environmental pressures, and on the other hand, deteriorating nature. By implementing nature-based solutions, we try to mitigate the human impact on nature. By the definition from University of Oxford, nature-based solutions are actions that work with and enhance nature to help address social challenges. The concept is grounded in the knowledge that healthy natural and managed ecosystems produce a diverse range of services on which human well-being depends. Decentralized, water-based sewer systems were applied to attain considerable public health improvement in urban areas of industrialized countries. However, the cost of such system is enormous and is often unaffordable to many of the developing countries. Centralized systems require conventional intensive treatment systems, which are technologically complex and financially expensive. Many smaller communities cannot afford the construction and operation of conventional treatment systems. For these communities, alternative natural treatment systems, which are simple in the construction and operation, yet inexpensive and environmentally friendly, seem to be appropriate. For listed reasons, constructed wetlands have gained worldwide popularity in the last decades. Let's look now at constructed wetlands. Constructed wetland is a type of a small wastewater treatment plant. It's a biological wastewater treatment plant with attached biomass. This means that wastewater is treated by microorganisms that are attached to the substrate and the wetlands plant root system. Its operation is based on the imitation of nature's self-cleaning capacity. Constructed wetland consists of three main elements that contribute to the wastewater treatment: substrate, microorganisms, and plants. Substrate provides surface area for attached microbial growth, enables physical filtration, and can bind substances. Microorganisms are responsible for the decomposition of organic matter. And wetland plants bring oxygen into the system, stimulate microbial activities, maintain hydraulic conductivity, and uptake the certain pollutants. Majority of the constructed wetlands are planted with common reed, but also with typha, juncus, iris, and other wetland plants. The selection depends on local climate characteristics and the aesthetic demands of the site. There are various design configurations of constructed wetlands, and they can be classified according to the microfits. We have free-floating, emergent, submerged. According to flow pattern, we have surface flow, subsurface flow, and tidal constructed wetlands. Type of the pretreatment: some solutions require sedimentation tank, some don't. According to the type of substrate, different fractions of gravel, sand, and type of material. Type of loading, there are systems with continuous or pulse loading, and according to energy input, there are systems which are passive or intensified. Most of the constructed wetlands in Europe are subsurface flow wetlands. There are two main types, depending on the course of the flow of wastewater through the substrate, being constructed wetland with a vertical subsurface flow and constructed wetlands with a horizontal subsurface flow. Constructed wetlands with vertical flow have good nitrification, while constructed wetlands with horizontal flow have good denitrification. Then there are open water wetlands, which are cheaper to build and to maintain compared to subsurface constructed wetlands. However, the exposure of open wastewater to the surrounding presents the risk of contact with pathogenic bacteria and spreading the odor. Also, they require a larger area than subsurface systems. Constructed wetlands can be used for treatment of different types of wastewater, such as municipal and industrial wastewater, landfill leaches, stormwater, and agricultural runoff, but they are mostly used to treat municipal wastewater. The large land area requirement of constructed wetlands is a major limitation of its application. So recent developmental trends in the field of constructed wetlands are reducing the land area at the expense of increasing energy input. That systems are called intensified or aerated systems and can manage much higher pollution loadings on smaller area. What are the commonly applied treatment steps? Primary treatment units are core screens and septic tank. The screen's role is to remove all coarse and inert material from wastewater, which is big enough to cause clogging or problems in the rest of the treatment systems. Then water enters the sedimentation tank. Sedimentation tank consists of at least 2 or 3 chambers for sedimentation of suspended solids, sludge accumulation, and digestion. Pre-treated water then goes into the constructed wetland system that consists of several successive beds isolated with foil and filled with substrate. The water is treated to the required standards through the combination of physical, chemical, and biological processes by microorganisms and wetland plants. Each bed is designed with a specific role to filter, treat, or polish wastewater. Basic processes happening in the wastewater treatment plant are adsorption, mineralization, aerobic and anaerobic decomposition. Numerous scientific research shows that constructed wetlands enable efficient wastewater treatment in terms of removing suspended solids, organic matter, nutrients, fecal and other bacteria, heavy metals, and even persistent organic pollutants. What are the advantages of constructed wetlands? Constructed wetlands have low costs of operation and maintenance, especially if compared with cost of conventional technologies. It is a passive technology with no or very low energy input. Their construction is simple and easy, and it can be done by local companies. The systems have a high buffering capacity. That means that they can quickly adapt to fluctuations in pollutant concentrations and hydraulic loadings. So they are an appropriate solution for vacation homes and touristic areas. Constructed wetland technology has a high treatment efficiency of organic compounds, and it is a green solution. An established green area provides other ecosystem services besides wastewater treatment. Their design can be adjusted to the area available. So this is also their advantage. And what are constructed wetlands' disadvantages? They need a relatively larger land area than conventional wastewater treatment plants. We can say that from 2 to 5 square meters per PE. They can become clogged due to wrong selection of substrate or poor construction and maintenance. And it is harder to control treatment processes, so once the system is built, it can be adjusted only to a small extent. Here is an example of constructed wetlands for single households. The shown systems enable secondary treatment. They remove BOD and COD. On this slide are presented constructed wetlands for small settlements from 100 PE to 500 PE. They are well incorporated into a landscape and they have very low operational and maintenance costs. Here you can see the biggest constructed wetland in the Western Balkan region. It was constructed in 2015 in Istria County in Croatia. The specific of this location is a high fluctuation of population. So due to the touristic season, the population during the summer months doubles and reaches up to 1,900 PE. The wastewater treatment plant Castelir enables wastewater reuse. Farmers can come and take the reclaimed water for irrigation of olive trees and vineyards. So this MBS technology was chosen because of its buffer capacity, constant microbiological mass, low operational and maintenance costs, and aesthetic look. So how does construction looks like? Here you can see construction of one small constructed wetland. First are excavation works, follows installation of sedimentation tank for primary treatment, and then installation of foil to ensure water tightness of the whole system. In the next phase, we install gravel, piping, manholes, and then we plant the beds. So on the last picture, you can see how the constructed wetlands look like after 1 or 2 vegetation seasons. Regular maintenance is important for proper operation and efficiency of the system. In the regular maintenance, the following works are enclosed: sludge pumping and its final disposal, weekly visual inspections to check if system is operating as it should, and harvesting of the plants at the end of vegetation season. Plants don't need to be replanted, so vegetative growth began again in spring when air temperatures rose. The investment maintenance includes all major repairs on the wastewater treatment plant. In case the system requires a pump, we have to maintain it and replace it according to the expected lifespan. Constructed wetlands can get clogged, and the result is the appearance of a surface flow. Therefore, an efficient and regularly maintained septic tank is required. Clogging requires excavation of the substrate, installation of the new or washed gravel, and replanting. Lifespan of the whole constructed wetland is 30 years or more. Sludge drying reed beds enable sludge dewatering, stabilization, mineralization, and hygienization. They can be an alternative to mechanical treatment, belt presses or centrifuges, or to overcome sludge disposal problems, like expensive transport to the central wastewater treatment plant. The sludge volume reduction relies on natural processes occurring in sludge drying reed beds. Planted reed beds enable effective dewatering of sewage sludge and produce a mineralized product that can be used as soil amendment in agriculture and other uses. What are the advantages of sludge drying reed beds? First is the effective volume reduction. This is achieved by dewatering up to a maximum 40% of dry matter contact. Then is also very effective mineralization of organic matter up to 40%. And we all know that lower volume means lower disposal costs. The second, it is a less intensive technology, so less energy consumption and no added chemicals. It is also a low-cost technology because we have low operational maintenance cost, and its implementation can preserve landscape attractiveness and scenic views. So these are the advantages. Okay, so reed beds can be built both for small agglomerations up to 2000 PE, as well as next to the central wastewater treatment plants to treat activated sludge. It is a matter of economics. Here are shown 3 examples of sludge treatment with the use of sludge drying reed beds from the region. On the right, there are 2 examples from Macedonia, and on the left is 1 example from Croatia. They're all treating sludge from small wastewater treatment plants. So, for example, in Macedonia, they accepted the whole concept of MBS for wastewater treatment. They built constructed wetlands to treat wastewater, and next to the constructed wetland, also sludge drying reed beds to treat sludge from the sedimentation tank. Why they decided for MBS? Because of their efficiency and low operational costs. And one of the most important benefits for them was possible reuse of biosolids, because in Macedonia at that time they didn't have incineration plant or decentral wastewater treatment plant. So they needed a solution which enabled long-term accumulation of sludge and reuse. Reed beds are being used worldwide, and they're in use for more than 2 decades in different countries. So here are examples from Austria and Denmark. On reed beds, layers of those sludge are thin and well aerated, thus there are no anaerobic conditions and odor generation. As you can see on your right, is an example from Denmark. The sludge drying reed beds are placed in the middle of the camp, so you can see that there is no odor. And on the left are two examples from Austria. They are from medium size wastewater treatment plant for 6,800 PE, and the other is for 15,000 PE. So as I mentioned before, they can be implemented for various sizes of agglomerations. To sum up, nature-based solutions for urban wastewaters are not new technologies. They've been proven to be efficient. They are robust and simple to operate and have low operational and maintenance costs. Their investment can be repaid through energy savings. Both constructed wetlands and sludge drying reed beds are technologies with a low carbon footprint and can provide additional ecosystem services beside wastewater treatment. In addition, they support reuse of wastewater resources, and they're appropriate solution for rural areas where land is available and cheap. So this is from me and MBSs for urban wastewater treatment. Thank you for listening.